Welcome to Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur. Today's date is the 27th of February 2025. Okay, so before I get onto the topic that's actually on my heart to speak about today, which I feel is relevant, linking to my court cases, I'll just start off with an introduction. So first of all, I'm just going to use the post that I'm using just to kind of like introduce you all, so you can all get into the mindset of where I'm coming from as far as when I'm explaining the laws and when I'm actually going to move on to the main topic, linking to my court case, what I feel is actually relevant. Okay, so I've historically now I can actually prove that my case, I've been used for a love triangle trafficking ring that I've been stuck in, going back to when I was working for the Ministry of Justice and my linking to my private life. So the core evidence of what's happened to me historically definitely has to do with relationship scams linking to everything else historically. So currently, for this generation at this time of the year, I'm using the story of Henry Cavill and myself to describe and getting you all, and getting into my world of where I'm coming from, trying to explain the actual situation legally and personally and in the moment, and linking to the government and to the courts. Okay, so I'll just carry on. So keep in mind, it's a global game. Okay, so really it is in the best interest for everyone to be involved and just get to know my court case, because this actually affects every single individual as a civilian, and every single individual is working in the government, and obviously corporate bodies are involved, and the public welfare is also at stake at the moment. And talking from somebody who's a member of the public, I don't believe it's safe. This system is not safe for the public welfare. But anyway, I'm telling my story to help everyone. It is current. It's a real life court case. Everything you're seeing, nothing is false. Everything is legit, legal, and authentic. And it's me telling and explaining my journey and my facts of life and my entity, and it's all about me, but it's also, you can relate this to yourself. It doesn't mean my situation is the same as yours, and you may not even agree to some of the things that I say, or for other reasons, but I can only speak in the moment of my own truth. But I'm quite sure there's something in there for everybody. So everybody's culture, belief is different. So don't compare my belief to yours. There are things that you don't like about me, but I don't know you. The thing is, I'm just focusing on in the moment evidence linking to the laws that is, explains, or the category that my case actually falls in court. So basically, I'm always currently been opposing the public deception, and I will continue to do that as I feel I have to. Basically setting boundaries against the opposing allies. I mean, you can have enemies, you can have opposing allies, but the law applies to them too. They are in my space, I'm not in their space, so there's a massive difference. However, the game has been global, it has been very serious. And I think it's the worst kind of secret society personal attack to actually take over somebody's personal space or personal territory, whether it be their personal testimony, their life, their soul, or anything to do with the individual. It is the worst, I believe, to any human being. Anyway, I'm a survivor of it, so basically everything you see on my YouTube channel is authentic. Nothing is fake. So I'm consistently contesting the fake, delusional deception, public deception, and it is working. So that says a lot. So I do appreciate that is actually working. It means the good people are all doing their job correctly. But I'm quite sure people, straight thinking people like myself, we're born, naturally, and obviously, well, we all like to think that we're going to be taught by good parents or whoever is our mentor, or our background, that we will be taught the truth and to live the right way, meaning integrity and the truth. And obviously, if we have people who are not grounded or believe in that kind of background, or believe in the truth, that means it just catches, everybody else is lured and caught up in a very dangerous situation where they can eventually lose everything. So I hope you're getting where I'm coming from. So I'm dealing with the negative opposing allies in my space, and the public deception, and also my court case. Okay, so keep in mind it is a left behind case, okay? This is why a single privacy breach is pretty serious, because it's common sense is eventually home invasion will take place and division will take place, and innocent civilians, just burped, and innocent civilians will get caught up in a conspiracy. It is a conspiracy. Everything about my case is a conspiracy, because it's a left behind case, and now I'm able to deal with, after the fact, incidents that are actually true and actually can be legally proven. It doesn't matter if people have passed away, it can still be proven legally in court. So we're dealing with organised crime. I try not to spend too much time on my post, because otherwise I'll run out of time to kind of talk about the main topic at the end of all this. So you can read all the information. It's relevant. So the reality is, one of us is actually telling the truth, and one of us is lying or making up, pretending information to deceive the public. But basically what I have found, I have gone through with this illegal project that I've been subject to historically. People have lied within my space, so it's a matter of me making the right decision just for survival, really, to make it out alive with what I was going through at that point of time of all the incidents that occurred in my private life. So basically my case is definitely 100% home invasion. It is a criminal case, an indirect one, and a left behind case, and every single elements of criminal components involving myself as the original has taken place in my case. So people have definitely used me for pecuniary advantage. 100% tax evasion has been involved with people. In my case, people have actually used me as the original, and then they duplicate me with a substitute, and then the money, everything's deterred to them, stolen identity, and then they get to steal everything, monetary and whatever it is I've been used for. I'd say Henry's been in that same position too, historically. So in my case, they've actually used me like back in the days when the laws, when there were actually no laws for individuals, like for the black and the whites, and I'm talking of going back that generation. So this here is what that generation going back that century is now this generation. This is what I'm going through is what it is for this generation, which is quite serious. People are being coded, used like an object, and then money laundering, and the original, and then you could either end up committing suicide, you could end up homeless, you could lose everything, and be murdered, and you could just disappear from the face of the earth and no one will miss you or know you. That's the whole idea of left behind cases and breaches like mine. But I can confirm it definitely is this that's predicted in the Bible. I'm a witness to it. It's internal corruption, 100%. So I'm just using Henry Cavill and myself as the originals in this case. But this here, I believe it's a serial, it's serial, like we have Jack the Ripper. If you all don't know who Jack the Ripper is, he was a serial murderer of murdering women. This year would classify as that, but this is the new age, modern day New World Order using relationship scam, and a lot of innocent civilians do get caught up in it, but you'll probably never know about it, and if you do, it's very unlikely the public will hear about it because they like to cover up and hide the evidence. But anyway, I'm just going to go with it. So I'm dealing with public deception versus myself, and I am the original. I have been used for relationship scams, and everybody else are benefiting from it. But yeah, this basic, just read all these. This is what I'm just explaining in my own words, and also describing what's actually the legislation describes them in plain English for those that don't understand or how to read the legislation. So this here is pretty good post to actually describe. Just so you all know, there's nothing in any other law this actually falls in. It's called animated or inanimated, but it does fall only in the criminal jurisdiction. So no, it's not normal way of living. It doesn't matter what culture or background you are, whether you're rich, famous, poor, whatever, but it is illegal. Okay, absolutely illegal. And once a criminal case like mine, where the original can prove all this, people will be charged for very serious criminal charges. But I have been used for illegal commonwealth. And this here, Chucky, if you watch that horror movie, this is the guy that's, yeah, it's quite a scary horror movie, but I'm just using it to describe what entails with what I've gone through as the victim being used and then glued to the opposing allies using me, but they're diverting the positive energy to those relationship scam women that they are using, or maybe even men, because it can be happening to a man too, not just a woman. And then they are actually defaming my character, defaming my personality on public appearance, whatever appearances, or whatever they're doing to allow those people who are secretly stealing to get away with pretty serious offences. And it is definitely a sport. Like, I'm so onto it, I can actually sit and watch TV and dictate exactly what they're doing, referring to me, because they've been using me for that long. So it's not hard for me to actually know exactly what they're up to, but they are secretly switching. That's the intent of the game, is switching, and the originals either fighting for survival or is consistently up against opposing allies trying to murder them or stop them from advancing or in any way. So it's quite serious and very dangerous. While we got that picture up, I'll refer that to the law. It says quite here, this is the only part of the legislation in the criminal law that you can find this. So it's definitely nothing positive. It is a criminal case, 100%, which means everyone that is breaking the law, whether it's a corporate body or an individual, if you're all linked to my case or me, you will be charged very serious criminal charges in the criminal jurisdiction. But yeah, so I'm just confirming what I'm saying with the law. But everyone will be charged for criminal responsibility. The thing that I have found really cunning and really serious about this case of mine is that I'm glued. So they're using different people all the time. They've never let me be on my own. So they've always got somebody glued. There's a trader or somebody that they're using it, and they are using your family, all right, your children, or maybe somebody really close to you don't know, and some of them just go along with it, not meaning any harm, but then there are others who people are paying them to do it, and I believe this is what's taken place, and it is linked to my court cases and to people in government. That's the truth. So usually victims are concealed, okay? So I'm definitely the victim. According to the law, I am the victim. If you've watched my other video clips, there's references there in regards to that in the law. So those that are the substitute are actually the being used by perpetrator. Okay, sound effects are used as part of a tagging, so that's quite normal, and that is part of, that's also a sign that there's very likely you're going through what I'm going through. Okay, this post here, it kind of speaks exactly what I've gone through since I lost my privacy working for my employer, the Ministry of Justice. I've gone through quite a lot, like mentally and emotionally. I've suffered the repercussions of the abuse, and definitely there's been mental injury as far as what I've gone through and what they've made me go through. And it's been a real continuous psychological and mental abuse. The torment and the emotional abuse, would fall under conspiracy to commit murder, because they have tried to make me commit suicide, but it's words cannot describe what they've done to me, and there's nothing funny about it, and I'm quite sure they'll find that out when they end up in prison. But this picture here is actually clearly explains what I'm going through, okay? It's a psychological abuse, meaning definitely a lockout situation. It's a global game, and when you talk to people online, like, or on the phone, or you go to an appointment, they know you're going to go there. So I'm already in a organized system. Okay, so they prolong everything. They lie to you because they're trying to help the other people. Okay. And that's what I've gone through historically. The other thing that I have found very, 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 very serious is that, one thing, you can't get through to the people, and then when you do, there have been times I've known that I'm talking straight to the enemy or the opposing ally, and they never seem to follow through anything they say consistent when you go to the counter, whether it be at court or whatever, that everybody's in on it, everyone's lying. So, or everyone, is helping each other, but they are coding, and meaning your whole environment maybe can contaminate it, because it is a global game. They just need to text and code each other using the misuse of devices, and that explains why people just come out and act stupid or act zombie. Like, you just get that feeling they know that it's you, even though you don't know why they are in your space. But gangs are definitely used. Members of the public is definitely used, and I felt that they've used members of my family to keep me hostage while they secretly steal. And this is why I'm denouncing all the public deception involving relationship scams with Henry Cavill and myself, because they're still trying to do that. So the other thing I have found is that when I do apply for corporate applications to corporate bodies, they are prolonging everything. They know it's you. Everything is intentional, but just which also means that they can still be made accountable as as a body corporate, okay, the agencies can all be made accountable for participating in sabotaging somebody or stopping somebody to try and save their own life or save somebody else's life or better themselves. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. I have seen it being done. Okay, so and it will be done. So I just thought I will describe that. So in the moment evidence is really important. So I suggest you just do your best to keep your in the moment evidence, because these secret societies, you don't know who they are, and if it's global, you just have no idea who they are. Okay, so but I have found that during what I've gone through, they've been so intimate in everything I'm doing. They know when I'm stressed, okay, and then I know they've interfered with with whoever I'm talking to, and to cause me to stress. And then when I go out, they're stressing me when I'm going out in public, whether it be the psychological abuse by the opposing allies publicly, the public scrutiny, and then only just to go to the appointment to have that decline, and they're it's a suicidal pact, right? It's definitely a suicidal pact. How I made it out this long, I don't know, but that is the best way I can describe it. And I've just put that drawing pin there. It's intentional, and they're waiting for you to either have a heart attack. The pressure is pretty bad. Like if you have health problems and they know what your health problem is, it can cause a heart attack. It can cause, stress upon your life or upon your body, and on your health. It's not good. But I think what has helped me to survive through all this is that I've just known the difference of what is natural and what is not. I've known when it's been intentional, and that just gets my mind thinking differently. I know I'm not cursed, but I know that I just helps me know that I have to make decisions, putting my own safety first. And the safety of others, whatever the situation may be at that point of time. So it's a clear case of taking away somebody's liberty or dignity, and that's what they've done to me historically. Definitely an indictable case, but it's an indirect left behind case. Setups are very easy. Thieving and stealing is very easy. And just like the way they did it, it's very easy for professional judges and professional Crown investigators to actually undo them all. But the danger about what I've gone through is that they've glued to me, and then they're deleting evidence. They're in the crime scene, committing the crime, and then deleting the evidence as they leave. So that's what this New Age system, what I've been a witness to. It's really, really serious. Okay, so we're dealing with my court case is definitely a unlawful strike cases. So it's definitely indictable offences. So it can be addressed at any point of time, whether I'm dead or alive. But this is the New Age criminal system that I'm going through. And I recall somebody asked, I say, me saying to somebody that all I see in this New Age system is fraud. And that's exactly what I've gone through. So definitely there's riotous damage. Like I've been like an open book. They've been everywhere. Okay. And I can't even explain how it feels, but the intent, it's pretty serious. And their intention is to destroy, to stop, to sabotage, and to pervert the course of justice, to help other people, okay, to help the actual defendants steal and win their cases. I kind of just drafted this up this morning because I felt this was actually really important. For those that don't know what to provoke mean is, it's when it's somebody who actually has done something to initiate or to stir or to start something from actually happening. So that can be the word provoke in the legislation. It's under provocation, and it's actually being repealed, these two. I think they need to come back because of the internal corruption. But the people that are actually committing the crime are actually the people behind the scene. Okay, so when people actually code people and then they are glued to that person like they've done to my case, the whole idea that why they're doing that is to try and make something look like it's natural, but it's not. However, when in a conspiracy, if people are caught coding or caught doing something linking to a conspiracy, to a person, to a secret, to anything to do with the victims, okay, they can be still charged for participation in organised criminal group, whether they intentionally decline somebody's application. I mean, it's quite clear, common sense, that the individual is definitely blacklisted or black marketed for money laundering or for pecuniary advantage or for relationship scam to help other people, or even especially if it's linked to a court case and unlawful strikes. That's quite serious. But to actually incite or to actually code people and acting out, it actually does come under, these people are actually trying to provoke something to happen, okay? So that can, even though this is deleted, it doesn't matter. It can still, the professional criminal investigators can still, come up with enough evidence to prove the pre-arranged, because that's what it is. It's organised crime. Everything's organised in advance, and they're still doing it to me even now, like even today. And I have found so frustrated. I know exactly who's behind it, and yet they're still doing it. But nothing is natural, and so I'm just going to go with it. Okay, so I'm basically in the moment, trapped, and I'm up against the opposing allies who's pretending to be Henry Cavill's real girlfriend, but they're secretly actually fake, and they've broken some pretty serious laws. And they are getting the help by other secret societies to help them win. And while the originals is trapped and blocked and blacklisted. And it is an instant act to a demolition of an individual. So they've actually, like, I can hear it on the radio. They're talking about me being big and fat and too old. I mean, they've been doing this since 2010. I'm just using that as an example. And they are intentionally damaging my personal profile to put other people off. But it's like they're coming in my space, taking photos or cleaving on anything to help these other women look better or win and steal. So that is what they're actually doing to people. Well, that's what they've done to me. The public game is reliant on gossiping and people participating. Okay, so nosy people, the world is full of them. But biblically, the Bible talks against people that are into busybodies, and about minding your own business for the very reason you don't know what you're getting yourself involved in, and it's just better to mind your own business. I've always been the type that I have always minded my own business. If it's important to me, then I find out myself. And other than that, I wouldn't get involved in other people's business if it's none of my business. So there's a reason why we have laws, and that is why the Bible is against busybodies. But the world is definitely full of them. But just so you know, if you participate in a conspiracy and you're caught out whether you're a busybody, you could still be liable and be charged for being part of it. Okay. So I know my video clips are out there now globally, and I know that I've kind of provoked or probably stirred a lot of people in these alliances with their relationship scams with these women. No doubt they've got all their supporters from, people who are actually supporting them, keeping in mind it's a global game and they've done this historically. So, one defendant does not speak for the whole country or speak for all the other good people who don't get involved with stuff like that. So keep that in mind, that these people, according to me and my set of circumstances, are breaking the law, and they are the defendant according to the laws. And now I'm actually able to identify them and globally expose my court case according to my version of facts and my personal experience in the moment with these people. Okay, so but I have found that they have used people within my space to pin me down and help these people win whatever it is that they're trying to steal. But Henry Cavill is not in a relationship with any of these women. He does not know any of these Amy Denton, or he does know Natalie Vasquiso, but that's not even a real relationship. If you watch the other videos, you will be informed about that. Just so I try not to talk about it because I've already spoken about it. And this female here, Moana, she is definitely linked to Church of Christ and Pastor King. They think I didn't know, but I've always known. I'm not stupid. And common sense is, I knew that I was in big trouble because I felt heaps of people were ganging up on me, but it was out of my control. But she is Croatian, and so what I'm saying is, even though these people, they come from different nationality, even the white supremacies, it doesn't mean that that these people represent everybody else globally. To keep in mind, they are the defendant, they are not the victim. But Moana is being supported by Aotearoa or the Māoris, but in saying that, all Māoris are not representing all the ones that are involved in this game. I have Māori family, close family, and so if anything, they are actually their victim, because they are my original immediate family, and I'm quite sure that if everyone knew what is going to happen seriously down the line, they wouldn't be involved. So the people that is in big trouble are the actual original people in government at the time these incidents happen. Example, the protected disclosure, those original people in government are in trouble. So I'm just trying to explain this is how it works in a conspiracy. However, it is a global game, and I can confirm that Moana situation is a global game back then. All right. But it is psychological illusion. Everything's one-sided, and they're stealing my character, stealing my personality, stealing whatever they can, and then they're switching, and they are the ones living, pretending, to be living the life. They're receiving the benefits out of it. Okay, so I'm just in one of my videos, I've denounced Natalie and Henry's lookalike. Well, he's actually an imposter. He hasn't consented to anything these two are doing. So I'm just using that as an example. But in saying that, the good people would actually charge. These people would get charged by law. If they can gather enough evidence, they will be charged for conspiracy, and whatever part they've played in it. Everybody else will be pulled into it. But what I have found is that they are linked also to some members of my family who may be just watching the game. But my whole area and Henry's area is contaminated by people involved in this game, because we're a threat because we are the original. Okay, so you just need common sense to know why this game is so serious. So your whole family can be animated secretly, you don't even know it. And then by the time you realize something seriously is going on, it's too late, because these people are deeply involved, and then they are breaking the law, and then they leave the country, or or the people are coming from overseas, doing hits, secret hits. For example, good example was when I got poisoned in 2010, and then Henry, when he got somebody tried to overdose him and injected him while he was recovering. So that's just a prime example of how serious when individuals or originals are being animated or inanimated. Okay, but this game is purely reliant on appearances. It's purely reliant on the public criminal alliances to sabotage and to help them, or to dig up lies about the originals and then interpreting it to to win. So these people can win whatever it is. So I'm just standing against that, and I'm quite sure God is God of justice, and I'm sure it's going to happen, because I'm going to make it happen. So this person here, Chai, whatever her name is, she is, well, I was going out with Rob. I've only had 2 real relationship, and now, with Henry's my 3rd. Like Echo, she was linked to the police. So basically you can have all these deceptions and all the rest of it. I'm not, the Indians and the Māoris have actually used her name. I'm not putting the whole blame on her. I'm just stating a fact. This is what this kind of new age conspiracy Commonwealth game is so illegal. Okay, but when they secretly go and use somebody without them knowing, well, that's for them to sort that out in their part, because you stand alone before a judge for your own participation and for your own action, and you're judged individually. So you can do things as a group, but you will be judged individually when you break the law and do unlawful anything. So I hope you all got the picture. So basically a vulnerable adult is somebody that is actually innocent. Okay, so it's like a child is innocent, definitely. So an innocent civilian, you could be working in government and still be innocent. You could be a vulnerable adult, you mind your own business, you're a good citizen, and you're not participating in anything illegal. So you are, by law, a vulnerable adult. You cannot be either the defendant or the victim. So in my case, the Crown representing the defendants are actually the defendant. They're the offender. Okay. If you watch my last video clip, I've already gone over this topic, but I just wanted to get all that in your mind. So it's a sport, and I want to congratulate those that are actually believe me. I can feel it. I can feel there's definite. It's working. What I'm doing is actually working, and that's the whole idea, is to stop corruption and to make changes so what's happened to me don't happen to other people. So just read all these words. I'm basically just describing in my own words what this serial killers are coding their victims, because that's what they're doing. They're coding their victims, using them as bait, and then they are glued, and they're actually being used like to get their foot in the door, okay? To get their foot in the door of something that they wouldn't have otherwise have their foot in the door in. So that's a serious breach, because here I am working for a very powerful, for a very prominent job, working as a court deputy registrar in 2010, and then somebody outside, we don't know who it has found someone to betray the government, and then they glued themselves to me, and that's what's happened. Okay. So all of it's basically from using misuse of devices and hacking. Everything is done just by the devices. Yep, so take a good look at this. It is a global lockout, and that's what's happened to me, global lockout. Then they twin and switch, all right? I have found the system so frustrating, like literally. But yeah, it's pretty, oh, I don't even know what is the word to describe it. It's inhumane. But when I do apply for my applications, they are going straight to the enemy. They are going straight to the people. That is the coding people's individuals just by words, and they already, like, if they've studied you like they have with me for such a long time, I mean, going back 2008 since it started happening, that's a long time. So, they've been recording, watching me, studying me. So it's quite easy just to, sabotage, put their people in your space. And that is why, you end up going through a very difficult time. But you are going through a downhill spiral, and it is very serious. And you're mainly dealing with indirect breaches. But I just want to thank you for others for your prayers, because I honestly couldn't have gone this far without the prayers of some people. Well, I also know that I'm actually in the center of God's will for me. Not many may agree, but I'm one of these people like Henry. We don't care what other people think about us, and there's nothing that Henry doesn't know about me that the public or anybody else can try and do to put him off and me off him. At this stage, we just know we've got to do what we've got to do to survive. But I do oppose this whole system. It is illegal and it needs to be abolished. So we have all these things here going on. Okay, every single legislation or law in the that does exist has been broken in my case. Okay, the system, I found that they're using extremists, like maybe members of our families or friends, are being used to speak on our behalf. But unfortunately, there's nothing in law that actually allows that kind of anything to happen. Like, my whole family knows I'm super independent, and I'm also the type of person. I'm an independent thinker. I mind my own business, and they all know, that I would be pretty angry with them if they're all doing what they're doing secretly without me, without me knowing. But I've had the suspicion that maybe people's families, members, and friends, some cultures, they have all these kind of beliefs that they have to make a decision about somebody, or for whatever it is. But I'm like I said, I'm super independent, and saying that whatever culture people come from, that has nothing to do with when I was working for the government. Okay, a breach has been taken place. People have broken the law and they've used me for very serious violent offences, and it's illegal. But I'm just saying that I know that some cultures, they have their belief and stuff like that. But in cases like mine, there's nothing substantial in law to condone or allow, just somebody else is speaking on my behalf, because I haven't given a power of attorney for anyone to do that, because you have to get somebody to do that, they need to have your power of attorney legally, and I haven't given that authority to anyone, nor have I verbally or orally said to anyone they can speak on my behalf. But in saying that, the originals in my private life are actually the victims, because they are the actual original. So this here is a pretty good posts are definitely dealing with a home invasion case, okay, historically. So what will happen in a criminal case like mine, every single person, every single corporate body that I have been a client to, you will all be audited for your part, okay, in a conspiracy. And I mean, you can decline somebody, but if the person has done everything right and you've declined them, then that's still an act of suspicion that you have declined them for the wrong reason, linking to an individual's, blacklisting an individual for the wrong reason. Anything is possible. Okay, I know what I'm talking about. So there you go. I'm the original. So I've been duplicated, animated. So the individual or the body corporate, they will be audited for everything according to the laws involving a victim and in their part. Okay, because when it's a conspiracy to commit a crime involving every single area of the individual, everyone becomes a suspect. So I'm just using this photo because it's Henry's favourite photo of me and him. So just so you know, everyone knows who I'm talking about. Yes, I am talking about the real Henry Cavill. Okay, and another thing I have found is that corporate bodies, members of corporate bodies have used their job for the wrong reason to put people off me. This here is one of my driver's license, okay, and we know people change all the time, and I've recently had to renew my driver's license, but I did notice that they had actually republished my driver's license, and it made me look like I didn't even look like me. But these are the kind of things, because I know by law that whatever the person looks like on their identity has to be exactly the same on their driver's license. But this is a method of stealing somebody's identity, and I will, the people who did this, my driver's license, they can be, they become suspects. I'm just using all these things as evidence because we're talking about me and my personal property. Okay, this is the most recent photo of myself. But for me, I like, before all this took place, I never really care about looks or anything like that, and I still don't. But I'm doing this for the purpose of my court case and the misuse of devices, the fact that devices nowadays, they can do basically anything. Okay, so what we're focusing on is the honesty and the integrity of a corporate body or an individual, because this is what you will be audited on. Okay, what I wanted to briefly talk about today is in regards to the hearing that I had on the 6th of May 2016, when I took my employer to the Ministry of Business and Innovation and Employment, where we contested in regards to the decision and the unfair dismissal that took place. Okay, so I know that like I said, the reason I now see why everyone is doing the coding is because everyone knows about me. Okay, so they're coding to hopefully help, for people to help them win their cases against me, because I know I've definitely won every single one of them. So what I have found is that there's several corporate bodies, total of 6 corporate bodies involving in my case. All right. So I just wanted to make it clear, I did cover all those points at the hearing with the Ministry of Justice case, because when I went to the against my employer for the unfair dismissal, I actually won the case. So what I have found with all these other corporate bodies, the New Zealand Police, Public Service Association, that's the union, the Ministry of Justice and Ministry of Health and City Med and IPCA, Independent Police Conduct Authority, they all want to put or refer in using this here where there was a settlement that took place at this point of time, and they all want to like put the weight of the case in regards to actually letting them off, saying that there was a settlement at the employment process. It didn't go through the employment court. It just went through mediation. Didn't get that far because we had already won. But I have already proven in this hearing before the judge for the Ministry of Justice that each entity are actually an individual, meaning there's nothing for the other corporate bodies to say that that I was compensated by the Ministry of Justice, meaning that lets New Zealand Police off, that lets IPCA off, that lets the Ministry of Health off, that lets the Ministry of City Med off for what they've done, okay, because it's a criminal case. Okay, criminal cases always overrides civil cases, and because the case is so serious, they don't have a leg to stand on. So what I just wanted to make a point on this topic is that the other corporate bodies and the others pending, because I am going to be taking other corporate bodies involving my case, all right, all of them do not fall in. They do not get away with what they've done as a corporate body. They are a separate entity according to the law, even though they are stakeholders or have a contract. Because they were trying to make out that that they all get to get off because there was a settlement, and I actually won. Yes, there was a settlement at this point in time, but after I put together my application before the judge, I don't know whether the judge got it, I did cover all the points that even though there was a settlement, the case is still a criminal because of everything else involving my profile. So I'm sorry, everyone, you do not get to get away with it, but I have already covered that at the Ministry of Justice hearing, and saying that because it's such a serious case, this case now is a criminal case, and that's where Ministry of Justice case will actually, because it's unlawful strike. I did cover all those points. I just wanted to confirm that, because that is what's going out there globally. Like I said, I just know what they're saying about they're trying to help each other, but legally by law, none of those other corporate bodies, there's a total of 6 of them, they all will be charged. I've sued each and every one of them $10 million each according to the law, and they have to comply. Okay, the law clearly says that. But as far as the Ministry of Health, I have sued them $1 million for every single year. All right, according to the law, and by law they actually have to comply. But now it's in the criminal jurisdiction. What usually happens in my cases, if your case is not sabotage, even though the criminal jurisdiction has fees and already got set fees and stuff like that for criminal cases for corporate bodies, unfortunately, because of the other cases that's already pending or gone through, and they are definitely unlawful strikes, it gives the criminal judge to actually comply to, I'm quite sure they'll be quite furious if they looked at the history of my case and all the sabotaging. It's quite clear that I'm the victim and they've put me through hell and back, and but a competent criminal judge wouldn't, he would comply to when the case was actually pending in the civil jurisdiction. So that's what I wanted just to cover quickly, and I'll finish this video on this topic. Just to clarify and confirm legally by law, I've already done my research. I already proven it at the at the civil jurisdiction before the Crown, and before the the judge, for the judges for this hearing. So in saying that, the Ministry of Health and City Med criminal charges are already in court and currently in the High Court at this time. But because of my set of circumstances, I'm bombarded with so many things with life at the moment, so much changing and shifting going on. But my intention is to press criminal charges on the Ministry of Justice and the other body corporate. As far as the PSA, I'm still waiting on a judgment of liability to be done on that one. So I will address all that. I'm just giving you guys all an update status of my case. So this is why everyone is coding, and that because they all want to help each other win their case. But even the way that they're doing it, you all are breaking the law. That's not fair. But a competent criminal judge will not waste time, and he will or she will comply to the law. And who pays for it? The actual corporate body. Okay, so if a corporate body gets fined, the corporate body is the one who has to pay for it. It's not taxpayers' money, it's the corporate body. So the Ministry of Health and City Med, they will be fined. That's how it works, and so they have to pay for it. And then if it's an individual, they're the ones who have to pay for it, or something will happen, whatever their set of circumstances is, or they will just get charged. So that's how it works. Okay, everyone. I don't want to go over the laws to prove all that, because some things, I want to leave, because that's my intellectual property. But I found that people are actually sabotaging me because they're making me work. They're making me work for nothing, but nothing is for free. And so I'm still an individual, and I'm entitled to my liberty. I'm entitled to be compensated for all the years of suffering without my consent, and for the loss. So I just wanted to confirm all that, and just to disclose and challenge the gossip that's floating around at the moment globally and on the radio. But in saying that, all other body corporates, you also will be charged for your part of participating in sabotaging an individual. Okay, I mean, it's not even called discrimination. It's beyond that. And it is a category 4 case. So I'll end it at that. And in saying that, because of the criminal charges that I've laid against the Ministry of Health, and they are unlawful strikes, they will be still fined. Okay, because the Ministry of Justice judgment it's unlawful strike, because the minister who used it. Because other corporate bodies have actually used the judgments as evidence, but they actually have not got any evidence. So I'll just end it at that. Thanks for watching. Decide whether my case is a criminal case